All right, let's talk about a totally different take on Harry Potter. What if he wasn't just the boy under the stairs, neglected? What if he was actually forged in this fire of like systematic ritual abuse? And what if his magic wasn't some happy accident he finds out about at 11, but a tool, a weapon he had to learn to use just to survive his childhood? Well, today we're going to deconstruct the prologue of a fanfic that asks exactly that. It creates this radically different hero on a much, much darker path. And believe me, it all starts with just one word. Yeah, that's it. The entire first line of the story is just pain. We're not getting a description of the cupboard under the stairs. There's no mention of an owl tapping on the window. Just that. It's an immediate, absolutely brutal signal that, okay, we are way off the map of the story we know. This isn't about a kid who doesn't know he's special. No, this is about a kid who has known nothing but suffering his entire life. And that suffering, it's a total reimagining of his origin story. See, in this universe, the Dursleys aren't just neglectful or mean, they are calculatedly, horrifically cruel. The author actually calls it ritual abuse, and trust me, the prologue does not pull any punches, showing you what that means. This becomes the foundation of trauma that's going to shape every single thing he does from here on out. And this timeline, wow, it just lays out the methodical destruction of this kid's worldview. I mean, at 5, he gets his first beating, and he thinks, he must have done something wrong. By 6, he's getting beaten with a belt for something his cousin did. Then at 7, and this is a huge one, he has his first bit of accidental magic, healing his own broken ribs. And what happens? His uncle just re-breaks them for being a freak. And at 8, the one time he tries to get help from a teacher, he gets a knife pulled on him. You see, none of this is random. Every single one of these moments is a deliberate, brutal lesson. So, all that abuse, it's not just random rage. It's a systematic dismantling of his entire world, teaching him 3 really awful lessons. The first, never ask his uncle for justice. The second, never ask God for mercy. And the third, and maybe the most important, never, ever ask an adult for help. So what's the result? You get a kid who knows with absolute bone-deep certainty that he can only rely on himself, no one else. And this phrase, worthless freak, that's what his uncle calls him, over and over. It just gets drilled into his head until it becomes the core of how he sees himself. So to survive all this, not just the physical stuff, but the psychological torment, Harry makes a conscious choice. He decides he's going to feel nothing. He becomes a robot at school, just a total shell. It's like, if your emotions are the ammo people use against you, what do? Well, he decides to just take the ammo away. So his first real step toward having any kind of power comes from pure desperation. He figures out this mental trick that he calls the void. Basically, he learns to focus his mind on a single object with so much intensity that he can make everything else, including the pain of the beatings, just fade away. It starts as a coping mechanism, right? But what it really is his first accidental step into mind magic. It's him learning how to control his own reality when the one he's living in is unbearable. Remember when I mentioned his ribs healed on their own? Well, unlike in the books, this Harry doesn't just forget about it. He investigates. He lies there in his cupboard, hurt, and he focuses, he wills his wounds to heal. And they do. This is a huge shift. This is the moment he goes from being a passive victim of accidental magic to an active user. He's figured out how to control it, and it becomes his first real tool for survival. And that brings us to his 9th birthday. He's alone, in his cupboard, and he makes a vow to himself, I'll never be helpless again. I mean, this is it. This is the turning point. The victim dies, and the strategist is born. He finally accepts that no one is coming to save him, but instead of giving up, he decides he's going to become the one thing his abusers have tried so hard to destroy, strong. So he makes this vow to get strong, and, the path forward isn't what you'd expect. His salvation doesn't show up in a Hogwarts letter. It comes from a chance meeting in the schoolyard. He meets these 2 siblings, Jock and Ro Thomas, and right away he can tell they're like him. They carry this weight. Jack looks way older than he is, and Ro's eyes are described as having this deep sorrow. Harry just knows he's found his people. And Jack just confirms it with one simple question. He looks at Harry and says, you get it too, don't you? The belt, the stick, whatever. And with that one sentence, everything changes. It's this instant recognition, a bond forged in shared trauma. In that single moment, Harry finds something he has literally never had before in his life: allies. He finds a family, one that's bound not by blood, but by bruises. Now, obviously, Harry keeps his powers a secret from them. I mean, who wouldn't? But then he runs out of options. A car comes speeding right for Ro, and on pure instinct, Harry just throws his hand out and yells, "Move!" And Ro gets violently thrown sideways, totally safe. It's this impossible act of telekinesis, and just like that, the secret's out. But here's the crazy part. Instead of freaking out, instead of being terrified, his new friends are just in awe. Jack, trying to lighten the mood, immediately nicknames him Super Harry and starts grilling him like, "Okay, what else can you do?" And that encouragement, that total acceptance, that's the real catalyst here. It's what turns his powers from a secret shield he uses for himself into a weapon they can all sharpen together. And boy, do they sharpen them. Where does he get his ideas? From fantasy novels, of course. I mean, where else is a kid gonna look? So he just starts experimenting. And over the next 2 years, he teaches himself this insane range of abilities. We're talking telekinesis, self-healing, creating fire and ice, pyro and cryokinesis, even creating water, causing explosions, turning invisible, and getting the basics of mind reading down. He is actively and consciously making himself powerful. And think about that for a second. 2 years. He dedicates 2 full years to this training. This isn't some spur-of-the-moment escape plan. No, this is all about patience and strategy. Harry understands something crucial. He's only going to get one shot at getting them all out, and he's willing to put up with 2 more years of hell just to make sure that when they make their move, they absolutely will not fail. And even with all this incredible power at his fingertips, he fights the urge for quick revenge. You'd think he would, right? But his goal isn't just to hurt the Dursleys. It's bigger than that. It's about securing a real future for himself and for Jack and Ro. So he becomes the architect of their escape, carefully building this plan on a foundation of overwhelming, undeniable strength. Okay, so let's switch gears a little and look at the author's notes for a sec, because they basically lay out the ground rules for this whole new universe. First, the author is very clear. This is a Super Harry story. Magic can be done wandlessly, it's all about concentration. We're also told he's going to miss at least his first year at Hogwarts, which is huge. It means when he finally shows up, he's not going to be some clueless kid. He's going to be a powerful, self-taught wizard with some major, major trust issues. And all of this really brings us to the big final question, right? This whole prologue, it doesn't just make Harry more powerful. It makes him a fundamentally different person. He's not driven by some prophecy he can't even understand. He's driven by a vow he whispered to himself in a dark, lonely cupboard. He's not the wizarding world's chosen one, their savior in waiting. Nope, he is his own savior. And he's the protector of his friends. So that leaves us with this one big question to chew on. How does a hero forged by trauma, not prophecy, actually change the world?